This video might be a little bit shocking for you because you all the while might be thinking that you should get onto NoFAP so that you can cut back down on your Vapadon streaks. Hell, you probably are on NoFAP yourself, but I'm telling you right now that I don't think it's a very good idea. I was once a big vapper also, probably just like you. I watched the same kind of shit and jacked off under my bed cheese for like 5 years in a row. I would be afraid that my parents would see me because of course I wouldn't want to show me jacking off my own to them. So I always would do it in secret. This happened for like 5 years in a row and my own porn addiction just made me like a weirdo in school. I would be very afraid to talk to girls, I would always be nervous and I would always lack confidence in myself when I tried to speak to girls, and it was really a pain in the ass. And all in all, porn just turned me into a weirdo basically. And since you're watching this particular video, you probably suffered or are suffering from a porn addiction. You might think that to stop jacking off under the bed sheets like a weirdo, one must go on to NoFAP and count days away until he relapses again. You probably think that counting days away would just inevitably solve your wanking problems. And sure, it might. You probably have seen people succeeding on NoFAP and getting over their porn addiction. But to me, I feel like NoFAP's not really the best way to curb your own wanking problems. In fact, it might even be ruining your own mental health. Despite all the advice out there saying that you should get onto NoFAP. Because what do you most likely do when you get onto NoFAP? You get onto NoFAP, you make some promise to yourself that you're not gonna bust a nut for 3 months, and you know you're counting your 90-day streak away and it's going so well, right? And suddenly on day 91, you have spit out your seed again. And now you're wondering why you just relapsed again. You've been doing so well, but because you just screwed up one day, now you just feel like shit. That to me is not the best way to go about curbing your own wanking problems. Because why would you want to try to eliminate your wanking habits but at the same time, if you accidentally relapse, you feel shittier about yourself? Basically, I'm trying to say that you're trading in your own mental health for a day where you screwed up your NoFAP streak. If you happen to bust a nut accidentally, now you feel like a loser because you got too horny. And after that feeling of regret, you know the feeling when you just wanted to bust a nut but in the end, you accidentally reached the point of no return because you went too hard. It's probably gonna make it harder for you to solve your own wanking issues. Because if you're like most guys, you probably have this like wild energy inside of you that says that you will not want to wank anymore. You basically set some, I'm sorry to say, some unrealistic expectations for yourself when you're just starting onto self-improvement. But after your third time fapping and reaching the point of no return again, now you're just gonna feel even more like shit, bro. It's a vicious cycle. After each time you nut, you're gonna feel more and more regretful of the actions that you did. And you're gonna set even more unrealistic expectations like, I'm gonna stop nutting forever when you've just wanked like 5 times this week. Sorry, bro. But yeah, personally, NoFAP's like a number game where if you accidentally fuck up one day, then now you reset to 0. And now you have to start all over again and you're gonna wonder like why you're not making any progress. So you're gonna feel demotivated, you're gonna feel demoralized, and you're gonna feel like shit. And instead of counting like the number of days where you can resist the temptation not to fap, why not reframe your mindset? Right now, if you're struggling from like porn, masturbation, excessive jacking off under the bed sheets or something, you have the identity of wanker. And your own perception of yourself made you succumb to the temptation so many times, probably for the past few years. So you see, I feel like the root problem is not because you're trying to like count the number of days away like a slave, but it's more of like you haven't changed, you haven't updated the beliefs that you have about yourself yet. And that's why you keep relapsing. It's more of like the fact that your brain still retains these like negative beliefs like, oh, you're a fapper, you're a loser, and you suck at talking to girls. And honestly, you can take it from a guy like me who literally had low self-esteem in the past. I always used to think that because I watched porn and I couldn't resist it, I subconsciously convinced my brain to think that I was a fapper, that I was a wanker, that I needed to jack off under the bed sheets like almost every single night. So in the end, I ended up fapping 5 years in a row non-stop. And not having the willpower to resist the urge to... I lost the battle. I felt like a loser, and I convinced myself that through these failures and screwed up opportunities to test my willpower, I convinced myself that I was a loser. And I carried that like negative energy into the conversations that I had, especially with girls. And because I was stuttering most of the time, because I was just so nervous, right? I never actually felt that confident around girls at all, especially girls. But that was until I learned that I needed to change my beliefs about myself. Like, let's say I wanted to be like a Chet. If I wanted to have the confidence to talk or to flirt with girls, then I needed to have a mindset change first. I cannot just be thinking that I'm a fapper. So of course, if you think like that, then you're not gonna do as well in social situations, because you're just gonna think in your head. You're gonna be consciously overthinking, like, oh, what should I say? What should I say? What should I say? And for me, I needed to convince myself that I was not a fapper. I needed to convince myself that that was not who I am. In the end, after many trials and tribulations, many difficulties, I've managed to cut out my wanking habits. At least for now, I can say that I'm pretty consistent about my NoFAP streak. At least for now, I'm no longer worrying about my failed NoFAP streak or whether or not I'm gonna be able to surpass 365 days of NoFAP, because I've convinced myself that I'm no longer a fapper. And I believe that by reframing your own beliefs, you're able to convince yourself to change. And this applies just for like anything in life. Think about the person whom you want to be. Like, imagine he had every trait that you desired. Imagine he was confident, he had a fit body, he wasn't scared to talk to girls, he wasn't nervous, he was always so confident, he's so friendly, wholesome, polite, everything that you could think of. Imagine you were that guy. Imagine you were just like him. And who knows, maybe if you finally manage to change all the negative beliefs that you have about yourself, maybe porn and masturbation right now would just be a thing of the past. Click here if you want to see more videos from me, and as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Do not fail your NoFAP streak, bro.